I don't know, drama from the beginning. But anyways, this is what happens in life. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Drama to Dharma. And I look forward to having another evening with you and Archangel Gabriel. Tonight, our topic is keeping your eyes on the prize, the holy divine. So keeping our eyes on God, basically. So we are going to talk about what does that mean during these days of lots of stuff going on. But what we do on Drama to Dharma is we will, the audience, I ask you to please ask me questions for Gabriel. Otherwise, we focus on our topic and anything that comes up. So we will start with the topic, and then as it goes on, it might, if you have a question that's off topic, that's fine too, because then Gabriel can answer those questions. My name is Josie Herndon, as you saw in the introduction, our new introduction, and I just want to take a moment to ask everybody to kind of invite the angels into this this show, because it's important that they're invited. They always say they like to be asked. So if we ask them, we ask God, they're ready to give us their answers. And excuse my throat. I might have to drink a little extra water. I've had a little bit of problems with my lungs, but I'm going to get them fixed, and I know it's going to be fine. There's just been so much going on. We also talk about current events a little bit, not politics, but we talk about what's happening in daily life, which I guess can be considered the drama. According to the angels, they say that it is very interesting for them to watch us. We're very entertaining as things are progressing on the planet as humans. And so that would be the drama part. And how do we integrate the drama into Dharma? How do we convert the drama of life, just daily life as it is, kind of, like a drama, like a play? How do we bring in the Dharma? How do we bring in the God and the angels and the higher dimensions and the higher realms into our daily life? And that's kind of what the topics are, and bringing forward our purpose and anything positive that we can talk about on our show is what we want to talk about, because the angels always stay very positive and they do answer tough questions. But, keeping a higher vibration is very important, and helping others to feel a higher vibration, people that are around us, is what our purpose is when we're looking at it from a spiritual realm. And I asked Gabriel, before I put my topic up. So yesterday I went up and, put the show on, did the stuff to start the promotions for the show and setting it up. And then I asked Gabriel at that time, what will our topic be? And so he gives me the topic, and then we talk about it tonight. So it's just as interesting for me, because there's nothing pre-planned or pre-written that I say. So keeping your eyes on the prize. He's saying keeping your eyes, because we have the two eyes and our third eye. So we have eyes. We have eyes from our heart. We have lots of eyes, he says. So if we can keep our eyes on the prize is the holy divine. Keeping our eyes on the prize of the divine, the divinity, that's what is going to keep us grounded and moving forward. And I'll tell you what happened to me this week and why this is important. My grandson, who I love dearly, you've heard me talk about him, Nolan, he's 5 years old. He accidentally dropped my phone and broke the screen and broke my phone on Sunday. And it was just gone. My phone was gone. All my contacts were gone. I caught on with the Shurian for 5 hours, and there was just a lot that I won't even talk about everything that happened in that whole day. But, that was a big thing. And so a Shurian came out today. Somebody in a van came to my office and fixed my phone. So I didn't have my phone for 5 days. And I didn't have text messages. I didn't have my emails. I didn't have my contact list. I couldn't even get them from the cloud because when they told me to turn off find my phone, they wiped out everything until I could get the guy out. And so at first I was really nervous about it and upset. But try not to upset my grandson. I didn't want him to see that I was upset because I knew it was an accident. So that's when, the angels started telling me, and I was praying. They're like, just look at God. Look at God right now. You don't need to look at your phone. You don't have to. It'll all take care of itself. Just, give it up. Just surrender to what's happening. And let's just focus on our relationship, Josie, this week. Let's focus on the relationship. And at first I thought to myself, I'm like, because I couldn't get a hold of Debbie. I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And so, I'm thinking to myself, and I tried emailing people, and I didn't know if they got my email, stuff like that. And, I was just thinking to myself, okay, I'll just, at first I thought, well, there's some sort of a conspiracy against me. I was like, there's something wrong here with technology and blah, blah, blah. But no, it was really a divine gift this week because I was able to really focus on my health. I was focusing on my family. I slept more because I didn't realize how much I checked my phone right when I woke up in the morning, and there was just so much stuff that I do. I don't realize that, that my phone's constantly beeping and dinging, and because I have everything on there, my emails, my text message, all my correspondence, my apps, my bank, everything's on my phone, literally. And even to do my StreamYard, I would, all that stuff. So, I just went with it, and I started looking at God. I started praying to God, and I started praying to the angels and asking Gabriel, and actually, being more in alignment because I've had medical problems. So they were telling me, you're going to rest. You need to rest this week. And it really, it's all like I got bopped on the back of the head with that. And they said, wow. And I said, okay, what can I do? There's nothing I can do about it. Of course not. I tried, believe me, I tried going against the grain and figuring it out and all of that. Then I finally surrendered. So that's where, I want everybody to know, and when we're thinking about this topic, that right now there are so many things going on that we tend to not, well, we do look at God. I'm not saying, because I do, I try to, but he's saying it's even more important right now to just, when something's not going in the direction that we think it should, because there's going to be a lot of technology glitches. There's going to be a lot of different messages out there. Politically, there's a lot going on in our country and in the world, and just, many things. So, and the pandemic, they're saying, it's winter now, it's going to get worse, and might have to go back into lockdown. Who knows? We don't know. So, we never know, he says, from one day to the next, really what's going to happen anyways. But right now, it feels like we have even less control for whatever reason. And he says it's kind of funny because we never have control anyways or know what's going to happen, but somehow we think we do. Somehow we think we do because we have plans and it feels good. I'm that way. I'm a type A personality. I like to have my plans. I like to have my reservations. I won't even go to dinner without a reservation. So it's, so I'm learning a lot about just going with the flow and kind of, letting it go, because we right now, they're basically saying, be ready to flow with it. Be ready to flow with what's going on, because we've gone through a lot the last 7 months. So we already are starting to get our muscles, our tenacity. We're able to flow with things better, because it's just for people who are very rigid. And I can speak again about my schedule. It's been difficult. My husband always says that he doesn't like change. Well, that's all we have is change now. So, just we've had the last 7 months to kind of get us started, kind of used to, they're saying, to flowing with things, whether we want to or not. So he say, just ease with all the flow and keep your eye on the prize. And the prize is the divine. The prize is our relationship, our personal relationship with God, with our higher power, with whoever you believe is your source of light. And Gabriel calls him he who has no name and he who has every name, because it doesn't matter the religion. It's the higher spirit of the creator. And if you're on this show, then you believe in that, because, that's what our show is about, Drama to Dharma. And it is a spiritual show. It is a God show. It is, and so I want to be clear with everybody, because right now is the time to really embrace our beliefs, embrace our spiritual beliefs. If you feel comfortable with your childhood beliefs, embrace them. If you're being called, if your heart is being called to sing hymns, right now, what I do is I have it on, because the television, the news over the last week has been interesting, to say the least, right? So I've turned it off again, because they say turn it off. And I've had it on the Hallmark Channel, and I've said this before, even Lifetime has Christmas shows. So I basically have it on Christmas shows, and then I have Christmas music playing in my car. And that's been higher vibration for me, because I love Christmas, I love the holidays, and I'm just thinking about, hot chocolate and gingerbread houses, and people will tease me like, oh, Josie, it's just like a pink cloud. Whatever. Okay, fine, I need that pink cloud right now. So, if it makes more sense for you to do that in the middle of your day and just listen to some fun music, some Christmas music, start singing it, whatever it is, or thinking about Thanksgiving and your food, or thinking about Hanukkah and all the presents you're going to get every day for a week, and not just the presents, he says, but the holiness of it. We talked about that last time with the holidays coming and how everything is holy, but yet, we still get gifts and things like that, even if they're not expensive gifts, little treasures that we can find or make, homemade crafts, homemade cards. Talking about, I was with on a group of a bunch of us from our industry, the addiction industry. We were on a Zoom yesterday. There were 100 of us nationally, and we were talking about how are we doing our marketing stuff during COVID. So it was interesting to hear everybody from around the country, and the theme that I came back, my takeaway from that was that the theme is going back to basics. We're not traveling. We're not, we're writing handwritten cards. We're making phone calls. We're actually reaching out to people, doing things like that. So I think, having that, maybe doing those kinds of things right now, and thinking about God, and maybe buying, little cards, that whatever Christmas cards or holiday or Hanukkah cards that you want to, send out, and maybe write a little note in them, or Thanksgiving, whatever, fall cards, just little handwritten. Anything handwritten is very energetically powerful. Gabriel's always said it's powerful when you handwrite, because then it's written word. Definitely when it's on the internet, it stays there forever unless everything crashes. But when you handwrite something, he says that it's definitely like the DNA is there forever on the planet, how he describes it. So when you're handwriting, think about what it is that you're writing, and send little cards to people. And then you can put something in there that's going to uplift them, that you feel comfortable, whether it be, a spiritual message, anything that's going to, if you can take yourself back to keeping your eye on the prize, keeping your eye on the divine when you're writing, then these cards, then something spiritual, they'll send you a little message from heaven, and then you'll write it down on the cards. So, or from the universe will give you messages, the divine will give you messages, however, it's definitely all encompassing. And right now, the light is shining very bright, he says, on the planet. It's shining very bright on the planet. And we may not understand that as things are shifting, but the way I see it is that he's saying that there's just so much light hitting the planet at the moment from the other side, from the universe, that that it's just going to start penetrating us as humans, and our light is going to start shining. We're going to shine to our fellows, to each other, when we ask for that. So when we can get in alignment and ask for that and keep our eye on the divine, keep our eye on the light, then the light will come through us, and then we'll be able to share our light with others, and that will help uplift the planet. So it's not even just uplifting each other, he says, it will uplift the planet when we do that. And right now is a very important time to do that. And he says it's not necessarily because of the holidays, although that's perfect. It's because of the time and space that we are in right now, the shifts and changes. I've had people, friends, relatives call me and say stuff like, is it the end times? Is Jesus coming? You know, because I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, and that's very much about the, you know, end of the world and things like that. And, you know, is Jesus coming now? And Jesus, you know, my answers are always, he's always here with us regardless, but things are shifting. Things are shifting, because if you do a checklist, you know, from some of the old beliefs that we have, or the biblical words that we read, it would look like we're definitely in those times right now. So it's okay. He says there's not, I mean, we knew coming in that we were going to be here right now, and that we were going to be here to be part of a universal upliftment, a universal rising. Basically, it's everything is elevating, and we've been talking about this for a couple years, how everything is elevating. But in real time, we're definitely there. And sometimes you might feel that. You might feel like the ground is not underneath your feet sometimes, and you know, it's because, you know, you need to be grounded. If you feel that way, like you're a little dizzy, or, you know, you're not feeling grounded, then do something to ground yourself. He says the best thing to do is to take off your shoes, walk in the grass, get your body full of alkaline. I drink a lot of alkaline water, but not just that. He says the grass, the dirt, the earth will ground you with the alkaline, the natural alkaline. And so if you could do that right now, you know, is a good time for those of us who live in the desert. I'm in Palm Desert. The weather's nice. We can finally go outside and walk around and do things like that. So he's saying if you're feeling like you're tilting, or you're not in balance one way or the other, it's probably true. You are tilting. I've felt very tilted lately. So he's saying, you know, just know that, you know, you might be tilting one way or the other, and you just need to, like, you know, straighten up and get your feet grounded. And if you feel like you can do that, sit down on the ground and do prayers and meditation, or just lay there and relax. He says you don't even have to make it into a big deal. Just lay and relax, but be close to the ground. So there's something about that he says to being grounded means going, you know, laying on the ground a little bit, just so that you're connecting to the planet. And then when you're connecting to the planet, when you're connecting to nature, then you'll be able to feel more balanced, he says, because, you know, we're just kind of elevating and things are just shifting around, and it's all going to settle down eventually. But right now things are just kind of shifting around. And so sometimes he says, you know, so if we keep our eye on the prize, if we're looking at God, we're looking at the universal light, then that will help ground us. But literally keep our feet on the ground. Keep our feet on the ground. If you feel comfortable, you know, keep your bottom on the ground. Sit down on the ground if you can do that. And, you know, or, you know, get a blanket and throw it out in the backyard if you can do that, and just lay down on the, you know, the grass if you can do that. So, you know, if it's possible for you physically to just feel the ground, then he's encouraging that as much as possible. Or even in your mind, when you do a meditation, you can do a meditation that you're grounding to the earth and through the bottom, middle of the earth, to the other side of the earth. You know, there are many beautiful meditations that'll ground your core to the core of the earth and through to the other side, and then come back up to heaven, you know, so you can actually do that type of grounding meditation. And there's, if you Google or you look up meditations, he says there's beautiful meditations. Dr. Joe Dispenza does beautiful meditations of grounding. So you can just do an app for grounding. He says it's very important to do an earth grounding meditation when you're going to do that, because then you'll actually do a visualization, he says, of your body, your core going, your core body, and your core energy connecting with the core energy of the planet, and then to the other side and then back around, he says. And then that kind of ties us to the planet. And he says it's not like physically we're leaving the planet, but it just feels like we are when things are the way they are right now, just ebbing and flowing and shifting and tilting. There's a lot of that happening energetically. There's nothing, he says, there's very little right now that we can, I guess lack of other word is bank on or count on, because everything is so different than it was 7 or 8 months ago in so many different ways, and it's going to continue to be that way. So, if we're thinking, okay, good, now we're going to just go back to normal, there's really no going back to anything at all, because everything is moving forward. So the sooner we can really think about that we're moving forward and take it as a good thing that we're moving forward, keeping our eye on the divine, staying grounded, we're going to be just fine. We are going to flow forward, and everything is just going to go our way, he says. Everything, because then we're not resisting it. He says right now a lot of us don't know that. So we're actually feel like, and I felt that on Sunday, that I was just resisting everything that was happening. It's like, gosh, I'm just resisting. I mean, I wasn't resisting, but energetically, apparently I was, because it wasn't making any sense to me. But as soon as we can ground ourselves and just keep moving forward and not look at the past, no judgments of the past, and not try to anticipate anything in the future. That's impossible to do, besides what you normally would have to, but not, just to stay in the moment and allow yourself to move forward. Everything is going to go exactly the way you want it to go, especially if you can stay in the moment and allow yourself to go forward and release any expectations that you have. Just release them and let them go to the universe, let them go to God, and then everything will flow exactly as it's going to. He says he encourages everybody to try that this week. It's so important, he says, to try to just let go of everything and allow the universe to help us to move forward. And just, if we feel angry about something, frustrated, let it go, because we will easily feel frustrated, easily. When I was on my Zoom, I was on there with many people that I've known for 20, some 30 years, but we've all met up on the road. We were called road warriors, because I've done a lot of marketing and I've done a lot of conferences and things like that. So we would meet on the road in different cities and going to conventions and, market there, or go to classes, get CEUs, whatever. So all these people I knew from the, traveling. And for us to be talking to each other on a Zoom, it was so interesting, because I could feel the frustration of some people, and I could feel the glee of other people that this has actually been good for them. And we were supposed to be talking about the silver lining of what's been happening. But for some people, they couldn't even think of silver linings because they were so frustrated. And these are people that are very, very positive, and I know what that's like, because people always tell me that I'm very positive, but sometimes I can't be, it just doesn't happen. All of us go through that, and that's okay. Feel your feelings, he says. We're humans, go for it. But then as soon as we can get back on and into, moving forward and allowing things to happen the way they're supposed to happen, the better. No judgment, because that's just where we are. There will be things that are going to be happening, and it happens all the time anyways, he says, where we don't, where it doesn't go our way. So there's nothing unusual about that. But right now, everything is magnified. It feels like things are magnified. So he says, just let it go. Let everything go. Give it to God. Give it to the universe. And yes, do we talk about this all the time? He says, yes. And do we read about it in books? Yes. He says, because we have to hear it over and over. And we have to hear it again, and we have to hear it right now, because we need to remember it right now. forget what's going on with the past, what happened already. It already happened. Don't anticipate the future. Live in the moment. Of course, we talk about that from a philosophical level all the time. But this week, it's very important for our grounding. It's very important for our breathing. And I have Jody here that's saying deep, deep breathing, breath in light, breath out of fear, flow. That's a very good meditation. When you're deep breathing, you're breathing in the light and out the fear. So I've done those meditations where you're breathing in the positive and pushing out whatever the opposite of it is. So if you're breathing in joy, breathe in joy and let out the fear. Whatever it is that's the negative, just let it out. Breathe in the positive, the joy, the happiness, the love, and let go of the anxiety, let go of the depression, let go of the things that are tying us to these thoughts that are despairing, that are despair. And like I said, I get that way. I feel it. We all feel it as humans being at home. Some of us are able to adapt more than others, and that's great because there are a lot of us, a lot of humans, he says, that love this time right now. It's the best. They're living their best life because they live at home anyways and they never leave the house. So they're actually living their best life. People that we don't see because they're usually recluse, he says they're doing okay. So that's great. So it's not everybody that's struggling at the moment, but they may be feeling it, he says, energetically from their friends or from other people because they feel the fear of that as well. But, these are times for us to really smell the roses, if you will. And because, again, we're thinking, what's going to happen over the next 4 months? Are we going to have to go back in? Are we going to, they're talking about everything going back indoors and us staying home again. So if that's the case, let us not prepare, but let us just be ready to flow with it. Be ready to flow with it, everybody, whatever it is, because we don't know. Those are just things that are being said out there. But just, keep your eye on God, keep your eye on the moment, and then everything will come according to the way it's supposed to be. Don't hang on to it. I don't want to say don't because that's such a strong, telling you what to do, but Gabriel says it's best if we are able to just allow everything to happen and go with the flow rather than resistance. So it's almost like going down the river instead of going up the river. If we can just imagine in our meditation just flowing down the river and not paddling up the river. That's also another good, he says, because when we're paddling up the river and it's just, you're going against the waves, you're going against the current, that's how it feels sometimes. But just going with the river and allowing yourself to lay on your back and relax and just kind of go with it, then you're going to be able to see the beauty of life that's in front of you. And you'll be able to enjoy the view of the mountains if you're flowing down the river rather than trying to get out of breath and just paddle up the river. You're missing the trees, you're missing the cliffs, you're missing, the beautiful clouds that are up there. So, if we can go with what's happening and pray for each other in the meanwhile and reach out to each other with love, then our day will be better. And everything's one day at a time right now. So our day will be better. And I don't know about you, but I've always been provided for. I've always had food, even when I didn't think I was going to have food. God has always taken care of me. And so if there's something that you're lacking, just give it to God and you'll see that he will send somebody to help with that situation. Somebody will be an angel extension, and they will come and help with whatever that situation is. And I can think about all the he just said that angel extensions. These are humans who you call, oh, you're my angel today. Because there are people that come through our lives maybe for an hour or two only that will actually take that time to help us with whatever our situation is. We may never see them again. It could be somebody that's kind to us or that whatever, or it could be somebody that we know and we love and they come and help. but whatever it is, no expectations. We never know. This week when I didn't have my phone, I had so many different reactions. I had some people who actually thought that I was mad at them because I hadn't responded to them, that I was mad at them, and that and I wasn't mad at them. I just couldn't reach them. I wasn't upset with them. So, as soon as I got my phone, I would call and tell them, you know what, everything's good. I had some people that thought I was hurt at home, dead. They were like, oh my God, they came and knocked on my door. Are you okay? Because we can't reach you, and you always get back and you always, text back or whatever, and your phone goes straight to voicemail. I mean, there were so many different reactions about where was Josie? What happened to her? And so, it's just interesting how we can personalize things sometimes without meaning to, or just assume things. So if you can't reach somebody, or if there's something, just assume that everything's fine and just send them your prayers and keep reaching out to them. Because finally, today when my phone finally went up, I had 3 people call me who said, oh my God, I've been trying to call you all week. And I said, oh, I'm so glad that you called right now, because it didn't show any record of anybody who called. I have no voicemails, no text messages, which is kind of nice because I would have like hundreds if I had them. So it's like a clean slate from about 4 o'clock this afternoon, my phone. But, the people that were calling me is exactly who I needed to talk to today. And then tomorrow I'll reach out to others and, I'll get back on track with my communication. I was a little concerned about the show, but what's interesting is that I got my phone working exactly a few hours before the show tonight so that I could text message my friends to join the show. And so I thought that was interesting how the angels had my phone fixed right, 3 hours before the show so that I could send out my links to my friends and hopefully they would join and come and watch the show. So it's just interesting how things happen. And when you can look at it from that standpoint, kind of looking at it from the outside in at your life and knowing that everything's exactly perfect the way it should be, and you talk to people when you're supposed to talk to them. And, if for some reason you're not able to communicate with somebody, it's just not going to be that day, but it could be tomorrow that you talk to them, and that'll be fine as well. Get back on with whatever it is you were doing and pray for them. Make sure, because we don't know how each other's doing, but we do know that we don't have really any control over it either, because this week I've actually been fine, and I know that I've had some friends that were concerned because they couldn't reach me. And now, and that made me feel good because actually I felt loved. I felt like, wow. And I knew that I could feel their vibes. I'm like, gosh, I wish. And there were certain friends I just didn't have their phone numbers. And so I thought to myself, wow, now that I have my phone, I'm going to write people's numbers down. Can you believe I don't have, I used to have a phone book where I could flip through, and I used to have a landline. And I thought to myself, after this, I'm going to spend that extra $10, get a landline in case this happens again. And I'm going to write down a bunch of numbers to the key people, that I need to call in case something, I lose, my phone dies. I mean, heaven forbid your phone drops in the toilet, and then, Apple or Shurian tells you to shut it off and they lose everything for a week. I mean, we just don't know. And we should be able to be okay with it if that happens. It took me a couple days to get okay with it. And then I was okay with it. And then when it came on today, like now it's all new again that I have a phone. It's going to be fun to reach out to people and talk to them again. But I didn't have any other choice but to go with the flow. I had no choice. There was no other way. I couldn't resist any other way. As much as I tried, I could not resist it. So I encourage everybody just to go with the flow. It doesn't feel good to, to do what I did and to be stubborn and just keep, although they say that's fine. They're waiting, God's waiting. The angels are waiting for us to say, oh, hello. What is it you want from me or not want from me? It was like, they're waiting for us to say, Heavenly Father, I love you. And, what's going on here? I'm willing to do whatever it is you want me to do. That's where I was. I was like, I'll do whatever. I will just sit and do nothing if that's what I'm supposed to do. Miriam Santana from Brazil. Wow. Hi, Miriam. Gabriel, love and respect for you and Joe. I've been, let's see. conventional and holistic healer for 43 years and seen lots of miracles, but lots of persecution too. I've stopped working for 9 months now. I know I have to get back to healing, but in another way, a happier way, with a public that is ready to really heal. But where and how? Hi, Miriam. Well, thank you for joining us from Brazil. That's amazing. And you're right. You know, these last 9 months have been a reset for those of us who do this work, a reset for those of us who have had any kind of resistance. And so people are ready now, Miriam. We're ready to heal. We're ready to heal this, for your healing. I know for me, I have a physical thing going on with my lungs, and I know just right now the angels are telling me that you can energetically heal me just by praying for me, and so if you can find a platform to where you are actually speaking to people online, he says right now, because you're home, to do, to do some Zooms, find out how you can get your healing messages out, and you can heal energetically via telephone with folks that you've healed with in the past. If you can't physically be with people, you can do distance healing, is what I'm getting from them, is that you can do distance healing. That's very powerful, because I can actually feel your energy and you're across the planet. So I think that's beautiful. So you have so much beautiful healing love to share with the world, and now you're basically reinventing yourselves, as we all are, because I was somebody who just met with people in person until 7 months ago, and thanks to Debbie on Spirituality Gone Wild, I've been able to have this platform, and with my other friends that I do stuff with. I do things now with Chamber of Commerce, different things online. So, you can find your networks online, and you can call your clients and reach out to your past clients and just check on them, see how they're doing, check your patients out, because everybody's struggling one way or the other. And you can do stuff online, and you can do stuff over Zoom, and you can still get paid for that and just work from home. And we're calling it telehealth. So you can just do telehealth, healings, and if you however you would charge them in your practice, you can charge a little less for doing it on the Zoom, but then you don't have your overhead of your practice either. So I think that's what they're telling me, is that you can do it online, no problem. You've got that beautiful energy, and you're ready to go. You're fired up. So thank you for sharing your question with us, and thank you for sharing your energy with us tonight. I feel I feel that it was beautiful. Thank you. Let's see. I have here, I've been disconnected from Facebook and not watching the news. The anger is discouraging. That's from Jim. Wait, let's start here. What's the best way to disconnect and stay in contact with others? The past year has strained my human experience. I disconnected from Facebook and not watching the news. The anger is discouraging. Jim, thank you for being so honest and for bringing up these questions. So let's start from the top here. It says, what is the best way to disconnect and stay in contact with others? So Gabriel's saying, change that to connect. What is the best way to connect with others? So he says, immediately take away the word disconnect, because then you're not going to be able to connect. So he's saying, what is the best way for you to connect with others? Leave it like that. And Facebook, if you don't feel comfortable on Facebook because you get angry about things that are on there, then don't participate in it. You can do YouTubes. You can call people who you care about. You can text with them. Jim, if you feel comfortable with that, you can meet them for coffee and meet them, face to face in social distancing. But there are so many people that love you on this planet, and Facebook right now is very political, and especially probably in your circle. So if you don't want to do that, but the anger is not going to help. He says to reverse it from the negative by saying, the anger is discouraging. Okay, so you're just going to say the love is encouraging. How can I connect? And the love I feel from those I know is encouraging. So feel that energy of love and connection. Love and connection. And then you will manifest people in your life that feel the same way, that are connected and that love you. And that's where you just have to leave it simply. It's, he's saying, keep it simple. Remove the words that are negative out. And he's so happy that you put them out there so that way we could release them. He's Gabriel's thanking you for putting them out there because that's how you truly feel. And now he's saying, release them and put, how can I connect with others and feel their love? How, just put it out there that you're going to feel the love from your friends from all the years, and who are truly the people who love you will come forward in your life. And the ones who are angry right now, you pray for them. And we learn that in recovery, and the things we teach is to pray for them. And we don't mean that in a bad way. We mean it in a good way, that we really literally pray for them and we send them light and love. For anybody who angers us, we send them light and love, because everything is a boomerang. It comes back to us. So if we send anger out, we're going to get anger back. And we're going to get it back probably 7 more times or more than that, Gabriel says. It comes back quite heavy. Whatever we give out comes back. That is a fact, he says. So when you're giving out anger and despair, then you're going to get that back. So he says, let's say, but he loves that you shared this, because this is such a great topic, because we all get that way. And so he says, just say, how can I connect with those who love me and be happy, be joyful? Where can I feel that joy? So don't even say those other words anymore, because we already know that that's, definitely where you are in a lot of people. But in order to do that, you pray for those people, you send them true love and light, not in a negative way. Send them love and light and move on. And then just connect, not disconnect, connect with each other and put it out to God that you want to connect. The love is encouraging. I am that. Yes, you are love. You are love. Love is encouraging because you are love. And when we can imagine ourselves as love, we are love. And that's what we, that is like, let's see, the love is encouraging. I like that. Thank you. Okay, so you like that. You like that answer. And I appreciate your honesty and asking that. So when we feel that way, just reverse the word, says go to the opposite realm. So if we're feeling discouraged, get rid of the dis and say, we have courage. If we're saying disconnect, no, connect. We have courage. We have courage. We have courage, and we are connected with each other, and we share love, and we are love, and we are light. Then those are the answers, and they will, and then the rest of it will keep flowing. He says, then it's like a domino effect. You'll just keep going with all of that. So it's very good. That was a very good. Thank you for asking that question and bringing that up, because you were very honest and vulnerable. And I love that. I mean, those are the types of questions I love to get for Gabriel, because then we can just put it all out there and talk about it and let it go. So he says, we just want, in order to get to a positive place, sometimes we have to clean out that negativity first, because it's there, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. That's who we are. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here if we weren't human, right? We would be up there with them already. So this is all part of our journey, and contrast will bring clarity. He says that a lot to me, is that contrast will bring clarity. So whenever we feel the contrast, we will feel the clarity, and then we can just go with the clarity and move forward with it. Clarity is very important. So when you're feeling something that's a contrast or negative, then ask for the clarity, and then the clarity will just move that out of the way. And again, you can't have joy and sadness at the same time. And sometimes it's not easy to get to joy when you're sad. It takes a minute to get there, but you can think about better thoughts little by little, and then you might get to a place of joy. It's not always easy to get to joy, especially if you're grieving. If you're grieving, then, it's impossible. If you've lost somebody that you love, anytime. He says it could have been somebody, as recent as last week, as not so recent as 10 years ago. There's still that grief that pops up around the holidays. So again, this could be a time where you're like, yeah, right, I'm going to feel joy. Well, you may not feel joy, but if you can feel a little bit better light and just focus on the light and the love and knowing that you're going to be okay and they're okay, then just anything to bring up your energy, and know that it's normal how you're feeling, because when we lose somebody, I'm getting that message that there's somebody that's probably listening that has lost somebody recently, and and that's everything that you're feeling. You're thinking, okay, I can't feel the joy, but that's okay. You don't have to feel the joy, as long as you feel. He says, as long as you feel, and you can feel something that is a little bit, take a break from, if you can take a break from the grieving, and take a shower, or do something to honor the person who when you can do something to honor our loved ones who have passed already and they're on the other side. They know that, they can feel that, and that's beautiful because it's keeping their legacy. He talks about legacy for people, for our humans, for our ancestors who we love, and for those who we've lost, and that just keeps them that keeps them as part of this world while we're here. It keeps them, alive. It keeps them alive in a lot of different ways than we realize, when we can create a legacy for those who we've lost that we love. And so that was a message for somebody that's listening right now. I'm not sure who, and I hope that that's helpful, because I know what it's like to lose. I lost my dad and my brother when I was very young, and so for 4 or 5 years, I don't remember those years really. I don't remember the holidays when I was 11 and 12, because they died when I was 9 and 10. I don't remember the holidays when I was 11 and 12. I have no idea what happened those 2 years. So I know but you get through it, and then you'll, it just takes time, and there's no words for it except the fact that I can share my love with you, and you can know that God loves you, and that it's a mystery. It's a mystery. I can't even, it's one of those mysteries of the divine. But if you can keep your eye on the prize and keep your eyes on the divine, he promises that it will get better, and that you will feel their loving energy in your dreams at night. You will feel them there with you. You will feel them, and it's true. When you feel their loving energy at night when you're sleeping, they are there with you, he says. So you can just sleep peacefully knowing that they're okay and that you're okay. And a lot of times they'll come, you might see a hummingbird, or you might see, something that reminds you of them, or that makes you think about them. And, it's true. They're there. So they're okay. They're okay. And you're okay. You're okay, because you're breathing and you're living, and you will continue to. Now your life may change somewhat, and you may just, find your purpose through this and the legacy of that person. My father was, an alcoholic, and he died when I was 9. And so my whole life, I had no idea why I lost him. My brother was in a car accident a year later, but my whole life has been dedicated to drugs and alcohol abuse treatment. So that's been my life's work, is recovery centers. And I own a recovery center with my husband, Jim. And I've been working in this field for many years, and working with families, because I just wanted to leave a legacy for my dad, that not everybody has to, I mean, he was what happened, but there are many families that are still suffering now that I've been able to help, and addicts that I've been able to help in all these 30 years I've been doing this work. And that has been the blessing. And still every day with my treatment center, we help people. So, you might find something that will help the world keep that energy going for that person that you love. And I didn't know that's why I did this work until later on. You do your whole life of therapy, but that's just, what can happen. That's how, I started working in treatment. People always ask me, what made you work in treatment 30 years ago in hospitals and do work in treatment? Well, that was a big motivation, my dad. And so that's become my life's work. Let's see. I have here, let's see, do I have any questions? If you find any questions, Deb, go ahead and pop them up. Let's see, visualize the violet flame in your heart and see the words grief, loss, and sadness burning in the violet flame. That's beautiful. Thank you, Miriam. The violet flame is so healing. And yes, think about the purple, the violet flame, and let that flow through you. Also, I had one where I was talking to a father who had lost his wife and 2 children in a car accident. He was driving the car and he was drunk, and so he couldn't forgive himself. And we did this beautiful work where we put them on an altar altar with all these red roses, and we did this entire prayer together, and just put them on. We pulled them out of his heart and his body where he couldn't breathe or move, and we put them on this beautiful altar, and with these red roses. And then he told me that they had all these red roses at their funeral, but it helped relieve him to do that. So there are different things that you can do. You can put your loved ones on an altar and just know that they're there, just to kind of, so you can breathe again. And then the violet flame. There's so many wonderful things to do to help just move that energy so that you can breathe. And that goes for grief, that goes for loss, that goes for health, that goes for anything. Gabriel's saying anything that we're feeling, despair, just let that energy flow through your body so that it won't get clogged up in certain parts of your body, and then it'll manifest into medical problems, because that's why we're having a lot of medical problems right now. Things are just getting, our worries are getting plugged up in our physical bodies. So we just want to be able to let that flow through our prayers and meditations. Let's see, I have, let's see, what do I have here? Jody, timing is great, needed to hear you, and tonight's message, tough time of year, focus on light and love. I've lost a few of my closest friends recently and challenged daily to press forward. Love is all. Yes, this is that thank you for that, Jody. And I'm sure that this message was specifically for you and others that tonight, because there have been many losses lately, and it's just hard to understand, to understand why that's happened for any of us. And there's really no understanding. It is a mystery, but there is so much love there. There's so much love. Let's see, Melanie Long. Hi, Melanie. Need Gabriel's love. Yes, you have so much of Gabriel's love, she said. He says there's just like love everywhere. He loves your pumpkins. He loves that you have, that you're online and that you're keeping people happy with whatever you can do, and just feel his love. Feel his love always. Ask him questions. He's right there for you. Gabriel, when I'm doing the show, I can answer the questions that come through, and he comes through me, but you all have access to him. He says, you're his humans. You are his humans, and he loves you dearly. So all you have to do is ask, and in your prayers, just have the angels nurture you at night. If you can feel nurtured, and ask them to nurture you, they will. They'll put you right to sleep. Gabriel's right there to play his instruments, to play his harp, all the things that we, imagine, just the heavenly, the divine music, the divine energy, and he will put us to sleep with his divine music. And that's beautiful. And thank you so much, Diane, I appreciate your comments, and that you're connecting with Gabriel, and that you're enjoying the show, because again, these messages come straight, from the heart. They come straight from Gabriel, and I never know what, really what is going to come through, but I always know it's good. I know that it's going to be the perfect message for you. Most of the time, he says, not always, but then it might be for somebody else. But generally, he says that the messages will hit right on, because that's exactly why he knows energetically what to say when he does. And I don't even ask questions about that. I just let it flow through me. And so he's encouraging everybody to do that in their prayers, and to, to invite the Holy Spirit to come through, and the light spirit and the universal spirit to come through and flow through us, so that we can share that love with each other. First pray for ourselves, because without ourselves, we wouldn't be here. And we're praying to God. So God's first, divine, heavenly divine. Pray for ourselves, always pray for ourselves, and then pray for others. He explained that last time about the oxygen mask. Put that oxygen mask on ourselves first, so that we can put that oxygen mask on others, which means pray for ourselves, and ask others to pray for each other. Say, I'll pray for you. You pray for me. We're good. I send you love, and I'm receiving your love. We're good. And just keep sharing that with each other. And energetically, we will continue to grow, and we will continue to evolve, and everything's going to be exactly the way it should be. So thank you. Now, let's see. I have here, my ex is an alcoholic and his health is suffering. That's from Melanie. Yeah, that's definitely he's suffering from that, and basically it's hard, right? There's probably a reason why he's your ex, and now because there's so much with that, when you're in a whole different plane with them, you try to help them, they they can't, now their health is suffering. So it's a perfect time to intervene. Gabriel says, intervene on him, bring it up to him again, especially if you have children involved, to say, now your health is suffering. I know you didn't think it was a problem in the past, but if it's not a problem, then, stop for a week. And if you can't stop, let's try to get some help. You don't need to get him help. Ask him. So you can get some help, because we have to let them, be the ones. So say, just try stopping for a week and see if that'll help revive your body and rejuvenate your body. And if he can't go 2 days because he's starting to get anxious and feel anxiety and feel his, blood pressure going up and starting to have medical problems, then you get him to, a hospital or a doctor, call somebody professional or have him call somebody professional. Don't ever have them stop on their own if they can't. If they start feeling jittery, then let them just taper themselves, but know that, perhaps right now is the time that he will finally go and get that help, because he knows now that his body is being affected by it, because before your body's affected by it, you're pretty much bulletproof and thinking, okay, I'm just going to do this until I can't. So now might be a good time to bring it up again, or have your children, if you have children, to bring it up. So those are, let's see, he's been to treatment once. Yeah, I know. I mean, most people go to treatment at least 7 times before they get it. So if he's only been once, he still has a pretty good chance. I mean, it takes sometimes on average, it takes 7 treatments for people to get it if they're going down that treatment route. So, hopefully he learned a few tools, some things that are going to, trigger him right now to do it again. And it's not about what happens in treatment. It's not about necessarily what you're learning in treatment, because say, oh, well, he already learned that. No, it's about your spirit really, and just you as an individual letting that alcohol go. So he has to, something's got a spiritual awakening during his treatment where he's going to allow it to leave his realm. And that's, basically what happens there. It's complicated, but yeah, he's getting anxious, and, he's lucky that you're bringing it up right now for him. I don't want to say lucky, but, he's blessed to have you even, bringing it up, because then you can pray for him, and then maybe he'll have that chance that he needs. So thank you for bringing that up, because I know, you love him dearly because you were married to him, and he's always going to be part of who you are. My husband died. He has an alcoholic, taught me a lot about love. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Diane, that your husband died. And he was an alcoholic. I'm sorry, I couldn't read it there. He was an alcoholic and taught me a lot about love. Absolutely. Is that him? Yes, he has such a wonderful face and smile. My dad was the most wonderful man on the planet. That's why, he was not mean or anything like that. It just didn't work for his body. He was only 42 years old. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely not suffering anymore. And he's not suffering anymore. And he was a good person. Most alcoholics are really like fun, nice people. They're not who they are when they're drunk or when they're drinking or doing drugs. That's not who they are. They're the wonderful, beautiful person that we know and that we love. So I'm sorry about your husband. And I know you loved him dearly, and he's not suffering anymore. And he's just beautiful right now, without any suffering. And he knows how much you love him. Let's see. Thanks, Gabriel. Oh my, wow, 7 times. Oh, 7 times. Yes. Thank you so much. And 7 times back love. More than that, Gabriel says, all the love that you're sending to us right now, it's going to come back to you. We're sending so much love to you right now, because that's what Gabriel's saying, just pushing that love to you. And then you're going to feel it. You're going to embrace that love, and then you're going to share it with others. And that's what our prayer and our hopes are for you tonight and this week, that you will stay grounded, that you're going to keep your eyes on God. You're going to keep your eyes on, prayer. You're going to keep your eyes on meditation, on the universe, on everything that's good and light and uplifting, and that you're going to embrace all that is for you, all that is good. He says there's so much good. There's so much light coming. Just remember that when we feel like there isn't, just know there's so much light coming to us, and we can share that with others this week. It's most important, he says. For some reason, I don't know why, but he says this week has got to be the week that we share the love and we share the light. It's really important, he says. So I just want to thank you all for joining me tonight and for loving me tonight. And I send that love to you from my heart and my spirit to you, and I will receive that back. And until next week, have a beautiful, beautiful, blessed week. Thank you so much for joining our show, and it is time to sign off.